Hey there, you guys. Sorry, it's really bright over here. It's really saturated. But I just wanted to bring you a little bit closer. Today we're going to be pruning this and making it a little bit more presentable. You're going to say, Bill, it already looks fine. That's the problem. It looks fine now, but I have a company coming next week, and by the time it grows, these flowers will be a little farther down. This is going to be a little bit more bare up in the top. These Coleus are going to be a little bit taller. It's just going to look a little bit wonky. So with baskets and pots and whatever else, it's best to maintain them a little bit each time, and eventually over time it looks like nothing's ever been done, and it's just a beautiful full basket, and it's full of blooms, and it's beautiful all the time. That takes a little bit of work, so that's what we're going to do right now. So anyway, I'm going to bring you a little bit closer and I'll show you what I'm seeing. Your angle is not very good. You're looking up at it, but you should be kind of looking a little bit down at it. And then we'll pull it off and we'll actually do the pruning down on the grass. So anyway, let's come on in. I'll show you a little bit of what's happening, and we'll get to pruning. Okay, so here we are. We've got the Silver Falls looking beautiful, doing what they're doing. Just hanging out down there. Really adds some length to the pot. We've got the Verbena that's not looking so great for whatever reason. It's not flowering really fantastic. These are all spent flowers. They've all fallen off, so we're gonna have to remove these. You want to remove these so that it produces more flower buds. This here is a new flower bud. It's really hard to tell the difference with these guys, other than, see, this one here has some little remnants of flowers, the little brown strips that are hanging out of the sheaths. That is a spent flower, where this one is a brand new one, just very small, very fresh. That's the only way I can tell you, but they're hard to tell. And any cultural issue, maybe too much water can cause them to drop their flowers, too little water can cause them to drop their flowers. You kind of want to be right in the middle. So anyway, we're going to remove all of these spent flowers. We're also going to trim back the calibrachoas here just a little bit, because up here in the top they're not producing any flowers anymore, and it's all kind of in this region here. And that's fine right now, but give it a week or two and then that region will be down here, and then there won't be any flowers up here. So we want to keep it nice, compact, and beautiful. And then this Coleus is doing beautifully. Look at that. It's stunning. But we want to trim it back 3 or 4 inches. This one here, we're going to trim it back even farther, maybe 6 inches. And if you wanted to, you can take cuttings and let those grow. But I'm just going to compost them. I don't need them. So yeah. So let's get to it, and let's look at different angles, and let's get to pruning. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm just going to trim off just a little bit of the Silver Falls. The reason why I'm doing this is because I want it to bush out a little bit, so it's just not so thin. I want them to be a little bit more bushy. So I'm just going to trim them off. I'm not even going to look and see where I'm trimming it. Just going to trim it back. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the Coleus. I'm actually going to trim it down just a little bit farther down than what I want, because this trimming is going to send energy to the plant to say, oh no, something's happened, we need to fix it, and it's going to produce all kinds of new growth, and these here are going to get much bigger really quickly. So if I cut it down a couple more inches than what I want, it will fill in even faster. And I'm going to do that with all of these here. Trim, trim, trim. There we go. It's a lot of fun to go around and do this. It's kind of therapeutic. And like I showed you, I'm just going to remove all of these spent flower buds. It's hard to tell which ones are actually spent and which ones aren't. Even because it's going to be for next weekend, I can take away some of the ones that are in bloom right now. There's not going to be any harm to that. So we're going to trim these away. I'm actually just going to trim this whole thing back a little bit. It's not an exact science, just trim away. And then with these Calibrachoas, the Million Bells Petunias, let me get over here. Just going to grab them by the handful and just trim off maybe 2 or 3 inches. I'm not trimming off a lot, just a little bit. All this is doing is it's telling the plant to send its growth up a little higher. It's going to branch out, and when it branches out, it's going to give it more area to produce flowers. So you'll notice within a couple of weeks that you even have more blooms than you did before. It's going to give you more area for buds to be produced. There's going to be more growth tips is what I'm looking to say. So that looks nice. Nice and cleaned up. Let's spin it around. We're going to do the same with this Verbena. We're just trimming off all of the spent blooms. This one's a really pretty one. Let me see if I can get the camera there. It's a really pretty peachy color. I really want these to be in bloom when the guests are here. So that's why we're doing a little bit of pruning now. A little bit of maintenance in the short term makes the long term effect much nicer. Trim, trim, trim. I like to come out and trim these periodically throughout the week, just taking off the spent blooms. Then here we go. This one is beautiful. Notice how there's no flowers up in this area. They're all down here. Again, if I don't prune it now, the flowers will be down here and this whole area will not have any blooms. So I'm just going to, the same as the other one, I'm just going to grab it and we're just going to trim off just a couple of inches. Still going to be lots of blooms. That's the good thing about doing preventative maintenance. You're not cutting off a whole lot, so your plant still looks nice. If you were to wait a little bit longer, you would be cutting off all of the flowers and it wouldn't look so pretty. And I believe we've got it. So I'm going to hang this back up and I'll show you what it looks like. Well, you've seen the before, now we'll show you the after. And in a few weeks I'll post some photos to Facebook on the Plants and Things What's Growing and also the Plants and Things page of what these look like. Just so that you're aware that they will come back and they will be beautiful again. So anyway, just 1 second, we'll hang it up and I'll show you what it looks like. So again, see how much lower the Coleus is? It's hugging the plant a little bit more. It's got a little bit more structure. And then the silver falls, not nearly as long. These are going to start branching out and they're going to start getting a little bit thicker. Exactly the way I want it to happen. And then these guys got a little bit of a trim. You don't really notice so much. This one you notice a little bit more. But all in all, it still looks nice. And in a week's time, with the nice heat from the summer, it will look beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So stay tuned for more updates on photos of these on the Plants and Things What's Growing page. You'll also see them on update videos, no doubt. So anyway, happy growing everyone, and make sure to maintain your baskets and pots. We've reached 20,000 subscribers. That's pretty amazing. I did not expect that I would ever get to have that much of a following. Thank you to all of you. I've been trying to make a group that